welcome in everybody. The quote of the week is failing to plan is planning to fail. Failing to plan is planning to fail by Benjamin Franklin. And if you don't know who Benjamin Franklin is, he is the man on the $100 US dollar bill. You can see in the picture there. Failing to plan is planning to fail means that if you don't have a plan, then you will fail. So you should make a plan for important things, and if you don't, then you're probably not going to do as well as you could. Maybe you won't fail, but definitely you can do better with a good plan. And I really like this quote. And this quote is going to be very helpful for today's lesson, because today's lesson is about presenting, and we are going to be talking a lot about planning. In fact, that is basically what the entire lesson is about today. So what we will do today is learn about presentations, and I've broken the presentation series into 4 parts. So there are 4 steps, I think, for planning, preparing, and delivering a good presentation. So you can go to www.lufoelt.com. That's LUFOELT.com, and download free worksheets to do this assignment on your own. Or you can just watch the video and try to learn as much as you can. Alright, so the functional learning goals for today is to learn how to plan and organize a presentation. Let's take a look at the presentation development process as a whole. So step 1 is to choose a presentation topic, purpose, and objective, and I call this TPO. Alright, so that's what today's video is about. And as I said, I've broken this down into 4 parts. So step 2 is to make the introduction of your presentation. And that includes a wise intro, 3 parts of a presentation, and an attention grabber. Alright, and for step 3, we'll learn to write the script, the rest of the script after the introduction, and make PowerPoint skeleton. Alright, and finally the last step is to finalize your script, make the rest of your PPT slides and finalize those, and then I have a few tips for presenting for you as the presenter. So the first step is all about planning and organizing, like I said in the beginning of the video. So the goal for today is to choose a presentation topic, purpose, and objective, TPO. And I think a lot of people know about choosing a topic. Obviously, you need to have a topic to discuss when you are presenting. For students, it might be a little bit more of a challenge to choose a topic, but I think for working professionals, it's a little bit easier to know what the topic is. And even for students, maybe your teacher gives you the topic. But anyway, the point is, the topic is usually very obvious to people, but choosing a purpose, like a goal and an objective at the end, is maybe not so clear to people. So I hope that thinking about this will help you to be better at planning and organizing your presentations. So when we think about the topic, obviously that is a question you have to ask yourself. What is your presentation about, or what is my presentation going to be about? Obviously. And when you think about the purpose, you have to think about who is your audience. Are they your classmates? Is this a business presentation? Are you presenting to other people in your company or people from another company? Okay, so who is your audience? And also, how are you going to talk to them? You have to think about who you're talking to, and then how you should talk to them. Sometimes presentations can be friendly or funny, and sometimes it can be more serious. So your topic and also who you're talking to, who is your audience, that is going to help you to decide how you're going to talk to them, how you want the presentation to go. What should the mood or the feeling be during the presentation? Should it be happy, funny, serious, whatever? You have to think about that. Also, the objective. So why is your topic important to your audience? So when you think about what your presentation topic is and who your audience is, you then have to think about the goal and why is this important to your audience. Sometimes you should make that clear and tell them exactly what it is. Actually, not sometimes, always. Even if you think maybe they know, you should tell them very clearly about why this is important to them. Because maybe their reasons or their thinking could be different from your own. All right, and finally, what do you want them to know or do by the end of your presentation? All right, so you have to think about these questions when you're starting to plan or organize any presentation. Okay, and you can use the TPO matrix to organize and plan your presentation. Again, you can find this at my website, www.lufoelt.com. You can download this, print it out, and use it for free to plan your presentation, or you could just write it down in your notebook or whatever you want. So I've broken this matrix down into 3 columns. The first column is for your topic. You need to choose a main idea and then 3 supporting points. So oftentimes I suggest to people to make the main idea as specific as possible and then do a little bit of research to find 3 supporting points that will support your main idea. And the supporting points will be the things that you explain during the presentation. So you need to be able to have examples from real life and explain those things very well. So that's the column for the topic, choosing 1 main idea and 3 supporting points. And then we move over to the middle column, which is the main purpose of your presentation. You need to choose 1 main purpose. And I have 4 listed here. There are other types, and actually when you give a presentation, you're not really only choosing 1 type. There may be a little bit of mixing happening when you actually give the presentation between these different types of purposes, but for planning and organizing, it is very helpful to choose 1 and try to focus on only 1 purpose. So let's look at these 4 purposes that I have listed here. The first type is to inform people. So basically just to give them information, important information. Okay, the second type is to train people or teach them about something or how to do something. The third type is to sell people something. This is obviously you're selling them a product or some type of service. And the fourth type is to persuade people about something. So you're going to argue or say that one thing is better than another and try to make people agree with you. Or maybe you'll try to argue that one thing is bad or worse than another and also try to make people agree with you. So you're going to choose only 1 of these. And as I said, when the real presentation actually happens, you're going to have some mixing. So you might use 1 or 2 types. But to start organizing and planning, you don't want things to be too complicated, so just choose 1 type. Okay, and then we move over to the third column, the objective. For the objective, you need to answer both questions, and you'll recognize these questions from earlier when I was talking about thinking about TPO. So why is this important to people, particularly your audience? Why is this important to your audience? And what do I want people to know by the end of my presentation? Or what do I want them to do by the end of my presentation? So if your main purpose is to sell something, then the answer to question 3.2 here, what do I want people to know or do, is I want them to know about the product or the service that I'm trying to sell, and I want them to buy it. So that would be an example of an answer there. So let's just take a look at some example topics. If you're doing this assignment, then you can choose one of these topics. So let's just take a look at some of them now. Okay, so the benefits of international sports events. So this includes things such as the World Cup, the Olympics, and other things like this. What are the benefits of these international sports events? There are social benefits, political benefits, economic benefits. What are those benefits to people? The host nation, the athletes, this is a broad topic that you can explore. All right, and the second example topic is the best way to have peace with other countries. So there's a lot of trouble in the world these days, but I think most people would like to live in a peaceful and safe place. And so what are some of the best ways to have peace with other countries and other people? All right, and the pros and cons of free trade agreements, also known as FTAs. So free trade agreements, if you don't know what they are, it's basically agreements between two or more countries, economic agreement about trading goods and sometimes also even services between their countries. And countries agree to these things, and there are good things about FTAs, and there are also bad things about FTAs. All right. The next example topic, the best ways to relieve traffic in your city. So some really large cities have major traffic problems. Some examples are Seoul, South Korea, or Mexico City, Mexico. Plenty of other places, other cities in the world have some serious traffic problems. And so what are some of the best ways you think that we can relieve traffic, especially in your city? All right, and next is how to reduce xenophobia in society. This would be a more advanced topic. If you don't understand what xenophobia is, then maybe you can look into it, and you could do a presentation about this topic, which I think is interesting. Everyone would have their own ideas about this. So this could be a presentation topic for a more advanced level student. Upper intermediate to advanced, I would say. Pros and cons of SNS stars, so social networking site stars. So for example, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, these kinds of sites and services. People get famous on these types of platforms, and some benefits and good things about that, but there's also some negative things about that. Both for the people who become the celebrity and also for the consumers of the content. So, interesting topic there. And finally, the pros and the cons of huge business conglomerates. So these multinational corporations that are very, very big, there's good things about them, there's bad things about them, okay? By the way, just in case you're not sure about what pros and cons means, that means good things and bad things. And of course, you can always use your own idea. Now, the next step is to choose your main purpose. And as I said, for the purpose of planning and organizing, just choose one, okay? And if you're doing this for work, then you don't have to pretend to be working for someone or an organization. However, if you're a student, I think it's helpful to help give you a purpose to pretend to be working for an organization. All right, that helps to give you more of a reason to do the presentation. All right, you don't have to, but it's just a suggestion. So let's take a look at some examples here. I've already explained the 4 different types that we're covering here. Inform people, train people, sell people something, or persuade people about something. So let's take a look at some examples here. So for example, if I'm pretending to work for an organization, I could be a member of the UN Green Climate Fund. And the main purpose of my presentation could be to give people more information about why green technology is important, just to spread awareness and make people understand this topic a little bit better with more information. That would be my main purpose. If I were pretending to work for the UN Green Climate Fund, this could be the purpose of my presentation. All right, let's take a look at another example for the purpose of training people to do something. I could be, again, a member of the UN Green Climate Fund, but this time my purpose is to teach people how to save energy and reduce pollution in their daily life. So it's the sort of the same topic, and I'm even choosing to pretend to work for the same organization. However, the presentation will be very different because the purpose is very different. It's not to inform, but now to train and teach people how to do something. So this is why I say that choosing your purpose from the beginning is very important. It helps to give you a very clear direction with your presentation. Okay, let's take a look at another purpose, to sell people something. Now let's say that I'm a car salesperson working for Hyundai, which is a major car manufacturer from Korea. And let's say that my objective here is to sell hybrid and electric cars to people. So it's a similar topic about green technology, but now my job is to inform people about my company's product and to try to get them to buy. All right, and next, to persuade people. So here we're arguing that one thing's better or worse than another. So let's say that I'm an environmental activist at the Greenpeace organization, and I'm here to argue why we need more green spaces in our city. So this is something like parks or green belts or nature trails, things like this. And so I'm trying to persuade people and make people agree with my opinion or my ideas. Okay, so these are just examples of how you have kind of the same topic, which is green technology or the environment, and how choosing a main purpose can take the same topic and make it a very, very different presentation. And also, especially for students, how pretending to work for an organization can help give you some real direction and purpose with your presentation. All right, so to talk about some of those different types of organizations, there are plenty of different types out there. IGOs, intergovernmental organizations like the UN, NGOs, non-governmental organizations like Greenpeace, government ministries like, for example, the Ministry of Education or something like that, or companies like Samsung, Facebook, BMW, etc. All right, so you can choose any of these types of organizations. And also, it might be helpful even to think about what your job is at that organization. So for example, let's say I work for LG Electronics and I want to talk about a new smartphone. What is my job at LG Electronics? Am I a designer? Am I a researcher, a developer, a lawyer? Am I part of the marketing team, the planning team? What's my role at this company? So this really depends on how far you want to take the pretending to work for an organization, but this can really, really help you to get a clear purpose for your presentation. So you don't have to do this, but it's just a suggestion. And if you are actually a professional, a worker, then you don't have to do any of these things because it's all real life, obviously. So let's just take a look at an example of how all these things come together. Okay, so here I have the TPO matrix. This is the first example. So my main idea is why green technology is important. My supporting points are: it is safer. Okay, I'm thinking about global warming. It's cheaper. Rising gas prices. The price of gas has been going up over the past 100 years. It's also more competitive. Green technology is a new economic sector, a new area for competition. So that's good. And my main purpose is to just inform people and then over in the objective column, this is important because everyone will be better off if we start using green technology. And also, I want people to know that green technology is better than fossil fuels because it's safer, cheaper, and more sustainable. So this is just one example of how I can take a topic and fill out the TPO matrix. Now let's take a look at an example, another example of filling out the TPO matrix, but with a totally different purpose. So the main idea is the same, and even my supporting points are the same, but now my main purpose is to sell something. Okay, this is picking up on the example that I used earlier about being a car salesman. So now, because my main purpose is to sell something, my objective is to let people know that they can save a lot of money by buying a hybrid or electric cars. That's my main goal, to let the audience know. And by the end, I want people to know that Hyundai green cars are cheaper, safer, and better than gasoline-powered cars from other car companies. I want them to choose our cars, specifically our electric and hybrid cars. Okay, so this is just an example to show you that you can have the same topic and even the same supporting points, but when your purpose is very different, your objective will be different, and the presentation will be totally different. All right? So, in order to complete this assignment for step 1, all you have to do is fill out the worksheet that you can get from LUFOELT.com. And I would suggest that you spend at least about an hour researching or thinking about your topic, your purpose, and your objective. If you spend more time planning, then later on you'll have a lot less confusion, things will be much clearer, and you can focus on making your presentation better, memorizing it, and practice actually presenting. Okay, so again, remember that failing to plan is planning to fail. So this is the birth of your presentation, and it's one of the most important things you can do. Okay, thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you learned some things. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments section, and please go visit my website, www.lufoelt.com, and please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Have a great day.